ba, 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 and we're live. Yeah. Hey, book friends. Welcome back to another episode of Between Two Succulents. I'm, of course, your neighborhood bookseller, Brandon Bashard Butts. Loving another day in this hot heat, but a great time here at the bookstore. And I've got a great guest for you guys to join and talk with us today. A little bit about our guest. She holds an MFA from Texas State University and was a Stegner Fellow at Stanford University. Her fiction has appeared in Epic, Memorious, Versal, and other journals. She is a contributing editor of American short fiction. She's a native Texan. Olympus, Texas is her debut novel. Everyone, let's give a great welcome to Miss Stacey Swann. Stacey, thank you so much for joining us today. It's great to have you.
Oh, thank you, Brandon. It's so wonderful to be here.
Awesome. Great. So today we're going to be talking with Stacey about her debut novel, Olympus, Texas. And you know, a lot of the time we like to show off our debut novelists. It's really one of my favorite things. So we're going to go ahead and get things kicked off with one of probably our namesake segment, which we cleverly have called Aw Shucks. Excuse me, all sucks. I do it every time. It's perfect. I'm going to introduce our two succulent VIPs for this week, and you're going to tell me which one that you would probably take to a housewarming party to Mount Olympus. How does that sound, Stacey?
Perfect.
Excellent. All righty. So up first, we have our lovely Vanna White here, aka Joe, who's going to model the beautiful and bountiful blooms that are giving this hybrid known as the happy plant. These beautiful colors blooming multiple times a year. The flowers make a showstopper. This plant has teal green leaves and pink to red tips. Through cool weather, forces the tips to become a deep burgundy. Bright light or sun brings out more vibrant colors on this small plant that is also called the happy plant and readily produces rambling clusters. Now, for our other plant, we have the mysterious sedum salsa. It is a mysterious and alien-looking succulent that sports red tip leaves with a crystal-like facet. The plant grows with a long stem and many round leaves. These leaves also turn more red and with increased sunlight, but are otherwise lime green. Sedum salsa needs bright sunlight to maintain their colors, of course, but full leaf coverage. They will not survive in the hard frost like most succulents. It needs to be deeply watered and but not infrequently in order to not rot. So, Stacey, the happy plant or the sedum salsa, which one are you going to pick today?
I think I'm going to go with the second one because I feel like a mysterious plant is probably more fitting than a happy plant for Mount Olympus.
I agree. I definitely agree. That's an excellent choice. Thank you so much for playing with us. All right, cool. Let's get into your book today, Stacey. So, you know, I remember growing up, I was a really big nerd when it came to Greek mythology, like really anything, like Xena, Warrior Princess, Xena and Hercules, the animated movie. Really a lot of Xena, which explains a lot. But at the end of the day, you know, Greek mythology really was my jam. And I just found it so fascinating. So from the title, you could pretty much assume that you're going to get a little bit of the mythology. But what is really cool is that, like a lot of other southern states, Texas is a southern state that is named after some part of Greece or whatnot. So I was wondering, what was it like drawing the connection between the two landscapes?
You know, it was actually my very first idea for having the movie, for the book itself was I was thinking about Greek gods and their mythology, but also like Texas has its own mythology that the people of Texas really buy into for better or for worse. And so I was thinking about how in Texas we like to view ourselves as being larger than life and just kind of big. And that married really well with Greek mythology, which is also larger than life and really big. So I thought, how could I take those kind of characters in Greek mythology, but move them over to rural Texas and have its own kind of new form of mythology?
Oh, that's really, yeah, I love that because, you know, and the lines I never really thought about it because, the South itself, I'm from Virginia, then I have some family from the further South, and then from Texas. It really is, we really do kind of cling to that sense of mythology or like storytelling or what have structure, even like if you want to call it that. So that's a really nice point to like hit on the head. And, just to dig deep, a little bit deeper, the pretty much overwhelming consensus about this book for us is that it is truly nuanced with really fleshed out characters. So we were all curious for you to speak a little bit about your character development process. What's it like for you to really get to understand the people that you're writing, and how do you put them down on the page?
Oh, well, thank you so much for saying that. I love novels where it feels like the plot is coming out of the characters and who they are versus kind of the plot being put on the characters and something that they do. So to get my plot, I actually had to dig deeper into those characters. And what I had done is I had taken all right, here's some folks, gods and goddesses in Greek myth, like Zeus, like Hera. What can I do to make them believable rural modern Texans that are just regular mortals? They don't have any special powers, but somehow you could recognize them as being Zeus or Hera or Apollo or Ares. And I got kind of halfway in and I got stuck on the plot. And so I sat down and I just wrote these really elaborate character sketches, trying to get to know my characters better and kind of beyond this Greek archetype that I had started with. And I started writing about the family's histories within those character sketches. And in a way, it was to procrastinate writing the rest of the novel because I had hit a hard spot. But it turned out really handy in the end because in exploring those characters and what had happened in the past, I figured out what they would do in the present day action of the story.
Yeah, oh gosh, man, I could talk character development all day long, honestly. I love that because it really did show ultimately as we followed those, and it didn't feel like we were oversaturated with the themes. It was truly woven into the story. And everyone, Stacey's truly written a novel that could relate to all of us with even the most dysfunctional of families. And I think that she set us up very well and has braced us up for what we like to do in our next segment called the lightning round. This is the fun part of the show because this involves a free giveaway. So I hope that everyone watching has been commenting and sharing their thoughts because now, Stacey, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And depending on your answer, one of these lucky viewers will be able to win the prize of all prizes, a copy of your book, Olympus, Texas. All right. Are you ready to play the lightning round?
I am ready. I will do my best.
All righty. Let's go. So first question, pretty simple. What is your favorite god or goddess?
Yes. It's funny, like when I was a kid, Athena was my favorite goddess, although I was a big fan of Xena, Warrior Princess. That came on when I was in college, actually, because I'm old. But when I was writing the book, actually, Hera is now my favorite. When I was a kid, I feel like a lot of us, we don't like Hera because she's just mean and she's vindictive and she's going after these poor women that her husband is seducing. And so in the book, I was really trying to show her in a different light. So she became my favorite.
You really did. I really did love the matriarch of the family. I really like it. Was very clear that was a point, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. But yes, okay, great. Question number 2. What would you say is your favorite mythological plot point that you involve into the book?
So I had a lot of fun weaving, maybe like 4 different myths that are actually in the novel. I think my favorite, to not give away any spoilers, will go with, so there's the myth of Daphne and Apollo. So Apollo loves Daphne. He's a god, she's a wood nymph, and she wants nothing to do with him. And so as she's trying to escape him, she's turned into a tree, the laurel tree. So what I did to modernize that in my novel, Arlo is the Apollo character. He's in love with Laurel. She's performing at a burlesque club, and he gets up on stage and tries to grab her the way that Apollo grabs Daphne. But instead of turning into a tree, I had Laurel elbow Arlo in the face and then knock him off the stage, which seems a better ending, I think, to that myth.
Definitely a solid ending. That's for sure. I agree with that. Amazing. All right. Final question. What's something that you feel your book does that's a little bit different from the traditional patriarchal family story?
Besides just kind of diving into the women's stories, with a lot of compassion and heart, I feel like I also was trying to explore this idea of forgiveness. And I feel like too often our country, our culture puts the burden on forgiveness on the people that were wronged, whether this is like gender stuff or racial issues. We don't make the people who did the bad thing really do the work to be forgiven. And so I wanted to explore that, like what could forgiveness look like? What do people need to do in order to deserve the forgiveness their loved ones may or may not give them?
Yeah, that's so... Wow, yeah. All right, we're going to move on. I love that.
That hit close.
It did. I was like, yes, I love that. Stacey, I mean, clearly with that answer, you are our lightning round champion. Stacey! Woo! All right, Joe, who is our lucky winner today?
Brandon, our lucky winner is Brennan Tolstoy. Brennan, you can come down to the shop anytime and pick up a copy of Stacey's book, Olympus, Texas, or add it to your next purchase online.
Nice. Congratulations to you, Brennan. We'll see and or talk to you soon. Stacey, it's been really awesome talking to you. But before we get going, tell us what's next for you. It could be is it the next novel? Is it finally a break and going to vacation? Are we going to try to find the actual Olympus? What's next?
I wish I could go to Greece right now, but sadly, no travels upcoming. But I have started my next novel, which is kind of about Texas politics. There's a little bit of noir mystery thrown in there, so I'm just kind of trying to figure out what the book is right now. But I'm having fun.
I'm excited for you to figure it out. That also those are some really good genres there. And we wanted to something that we love to do. We're very much a community-based store, and we love giving back as best we can. So we wanted to know, were there any communities or causes or organizations that you want to take this time to shout out?
Yeah, I would love to shout out a group that I have volunteered with. It's called Powered by People. It's here in Texas, and it's actually a PAC that was put together by Beto O'Rourke. But they've been doing tons of great stuff. They worked with food banks during the pandemic to get food. They called people during our horrible winter storms just to give advice about, how people could find safety. And now they're working really hard with voting rights, and they're working against the voter suppression bills. That's, you might have seen it on the news in Texas. Our legislators had to flee the state basically to stop this really repressive voting law from going into effect. So they do great work. I highly recommend them.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate you shouting them out here on Between Two Succulents. Everyone, Stacey Swann is a goddess that is a goddess, and her book is full of family time in all shapes and forms. Olympus, Texas is available right here for purchase at Charm City Books. Stacey, thank you again for taking the time to chat with us, and we would love to continue this partnership and talking with each other. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for so much for having me. I love indie bookstores more than anything, and have just been so amazed at how much y'all do for debut authors. It's a hard world out there in book publishing, just getting attention, and I can't imagine what would have happened if I didn't have the support of indie bookstores. So thank you guys.
It's absolutely our pleasure. As you all just heard, supporting indie bookstores helps support new and rising debut authors. So please continue to purchase their work, read their stuff. It's a lot of great stuff. We have a lot of content on our page right here, Between Two Succulents, that involves a lot of new authors. We really encourage you all to really pick up something new and fresh. We appreciate you guys braving the wilds of social media to be here with us today. I'm Brandon Rashad Butts with another episode of Between Two Succulents. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Thanks for joining us. Take care.